Joining us now, the man who won huge in Louisiana over the weekend. Louisiana loves Rick, no doubt about it. He's singing, I think he's still singing Zydeco music as he's now up in Wisconsin, ready for the big April 3rd contest. Rick Santorum joins us now. Rick, how are you?
I'm singing the Beer Bell Polka up in Wisconsin, but we were singing when the Saints come marching in down in Louisiana. It was we had a great victory down there. I just love Louisiana, as you know, Laura, because I know you've been down there. I mean, it's just a unique state, and we just had a wonderful time. I had my share of crawfish, sucked a few heads of crawfish, which was a little nasty at first, but you get used to it. And the people there were awesome. And now we're up in Wisconsin, and we've been having a ball in Wisconsin. We're up in Lambeau Field, throwing some footballs around. Was bowling in Sheboygan, and
I saw that.
You know what you need to do is you need to run on your website the picture of me bowling versus the picture of Obama bowling. And see
okay.
And see who looks like they've ever bowled in their life.
Okay, well, if we were choosing the bowler-in-chief, I would agree with you. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, no,
I like it.
You got to be able to relate to the guys out there. I mean, the people across America, right?
Yeah, no, well, that and comparing it to the cheesy grits lines of Romney,
Ooh.
I mean, this is one of the more uncomfortable moments for the Romney campaign.
As opposed to the cheese curds, which I've been eating up in, the fried cheese curds in Wisconsin.
No. But you're so you win 20+ point victory in Louisiana. You won every non-Florida state. Newt picked up South Carolina, but now the concern for you is how do you win a state like Wisconsin, which is far more liberal and with its own voting predilection, Romney ahead, and few are saying that you'll win. I know people have predicted you were going to lose in other states, and you've won. But nevertheless, to listen to the commentary over the weekend, Senator Santorum, it's over, and you're kind of sticking it out for a while, but this thing is done, and this thing is over, and you got to win 74% of the remaining delegates.
Well, first off, the delegate math is just garbage. We've put out our own calculus, which actually reflects what's going on in the states, not this Romney math, which is just simply wrong. I mean, it way overstates Governor Romney's commitments and the delegates who won. It way understates not just mine, but everybody else's in the campaign. And we've given that to reporters. We're going to be walking through that in details this week, state by state by state, and why this math is simply wrong. Number one. Number two, we've gone out and won 11 states. Nobody's won 11 states as a challenger to the establishment candidate. The last time that was done, the only time it was done in the modern conservative era, was 1976 in Ronald Reagan. He won 11 states. We've won 11 states. I mean, there have been less delegates selected in this race so far than there was when Mitt Romney got out of the race 4 years ago. He doesn't tell you that. And by the way, I've won more states than Mitt Romney did 4 years ago. So you just go through the process here, and you realize this is really premature. There's a lot to be decided. A lot of areas of the country have yet been heard from. There are big delegate states still at stake, and there's a great chance for us to be able to win this nomination at this point and make sure that we have a conservative who can actually win the election in the fall, who doesn't give away, as I was talking about yesterday, and I'm talking about the Supreme Court today, who doesn't give away the most important issue in this campaign, which is Obamacare and its effect on our economy, our budget, and our freedom.
Well, he says, and his campaign has been adamant about this, that he will move immediately to overturn Obamacare, to rescind it in every iteration with all the power vested in him in the executive branch. And regardless of his history, when you say that he's the worst candidate to run against Obama on this issue, do you also say that he's not telling the truth when he says he will repeal it?
Here's a guy that his campaign advisor said would hit the reset button, pull out the Etch-a-Sketch, and do what's necessary to win the general election. I can show you a ton of interviews where Mitt Romney said he liked parts of Obamacare and that he would keep parts of Obamacare. Multiple interviews over the course of years, last 2 years, where he said that even during this campaign. So let's just be honest about who we're dealing with. This is a guy that went to Puerto Rico after I stood up and told the truth which is that people in Puerto Rico, if they want to become a state, need to teach English in the schools and need to do what I've said, make English the official language, which I support. And told the people of Puerto Rico, no, I knew it would be unpopular. I said, you know what? If you want to become a state, then you have to have more than 15% of the population speak English, and you have to teach it in your public schools. I got blasted. 2 days later, Mitt Romney went down there. He has the same position I do, which is English should be the official language of the country. He said he opposes bilingual education. But for 20 delegates, he went down to Puerto Rico and said, "Oh, of course you can come into the union and not speak Spanish, not speak English. Oh, no, you don't have to teach it in your schools." This is who he is. Reset button, etch-a-sketch, whatever is necessary to win. That's why conservatives don't trust him. That's why you cannot trust him on the issue of Obamacare. But even if you could, the point is that running against Barack Obama as the blueprint, the author, as David Plouffe said, the godfather of Obamacare, who supported individual mandates requiring the government requiring you to buy insurance, who supported the insurance exchanges, the taxes, the spending, the explosion of Medicaid in the state. He is the worst person to run against Barack Obama on this issue, because Obama turned around and said, wait a minute, you were for everything. In fact, you advocated, which he did in 2009, he advocated for Obama to follow Massachusetts and do what Massachusetts did.
Rick, here's what I hear from kind of my more moderate Republican friends. And a couple of them actually, they live in my neighborhood, and they voted for Obama last time. I'm like, how do you call yourself a Republican, voted for Obama? But nevertheless, this is what they say. They say, well, I could vote for Mitt Romney, and I think I'll vote for Mitt Romney, but there's no way I can vote for Rick Santorum. And I'm just telling you some of the things they say. I say, I know Rick Santorum, so what's your concern? Well, he just seems like he's always so angry, and he's always so... It's always such a dour message. It's not an upbeat, positive Morning in America vision. It's just like tearing down Romney, and that's helping the Democrats. And that's what I hear time and again. And my question to you is, how do you balance that, right? Because you do have to hit Romney in a primary because you're up against Romney, and he's with all of his money and so forth. But how do you maintain kind of a sunny, positive, solutions-oriented approach and hit Romney at the same time? That's hard.
Well, I don't think it hasn't been hard. I mean, that's why I've been successful out there on the road. That's why we're able to win Iowa, and if we go to the states, and because we go out and talk about how we're going to reclaim America's first principles. Every speech I talk about the Declaration of the Constitution. I talk about who we are. I remind people of Reagan's farewell address, and weave in. You know, we are great people, and that we need to believe in limited government, the unlimited potential of the American people. My whole speech is everything I talk about out on the road is woven into, limited government, believing in people, believing in ourselves again, and the potential, whether it's energy or what we can do, and talk about health savings accounts and how we need to believe in 300 million consumers instead of insurance companies and government. Yeah. So what they're hearing is a spin of the Romney campaign as well as the media. But you know what? When a general election comes around, you're going to have a better opportunity to really see the contrast. And the contrast is going to be one of someone who believes in the greatness and the freedom of the American public, the unlimited potential of the American public, as opposed to someone who believes in a nanny state and government controlling their lives. And I'll tell you what, your moderate friend is going to pick someone who believes in them, who wants to allow them to have the economic freedom that they know works in America, as opposed to a nanny state leftist.
Do you this? Well, I guess we'll play it. This line when you said the worst Republican in the country to put up against Barack Obama. Why would Wisconsin want to vote for someone like that? You were saying, you said not that Romney and Obama are the same, or that you'd support Obama over Romney. You clarified those comments. So tell us about that.
Well, I never said those. I mean, what I said was that there are voters, I've been saying this at every speech, that if voters don't see a real difference between the two candidates, or the same on health care, if they're the same and have the same positions on energy, that, we're not going to win the election. We've only one Republican has ever defeated a Democratic incumbent over the last 100+ years, and that was Ronald Reagan. And that's because he gave people a choice.
Right, but you'll support, but you will support Romney over Obama if it came to that.
Absolutely. I say I start out every speech, it's the most important election in our lifetime. It's the most important election in the country's history. We must defeat Barack Obama. And that, that's the premise of every speech I give. And of course, I mean, I've answered this question 100,000 times, but I even support Ron Paul. And I have some serious problems about Ron Paul.
I just wanted everyone to hear that I wanted everyone to hear that on this show. I thought it was important. And you came out after the Trayvon Martin shooting. And last week, you and Gingrich and Romney and everyone came out and commented on it. The president spoke on Friday and said, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon, and said it's time for the nation to do soul searching on this. What was your reaction to that?
Well, I gave a reaction, and it's one that we shouldn't be politicizing. I mean, we shouldn't be introducing issues that the president has no idea what was going on in that person's mind, and to sort of leap to that is really disturbing, and it's very sad. This is a tragic situation. We have no idea what was going on in this person's mind or what the circumstances and all the details were. It sounds like a heinous act, and condemn it for being a heinous act, but to introduce this type of rhetoric that is clearly meant to bring up these very sensitive issues, I just think is out of line for this president. It's very, very unfortunate that he seizes upon this horrific thing where families are suffering and injects that type of divisive rhetoric, and that to me is one of the disappointing parts of what this president has brought to the table.
Do you think we should have a national conference on race relations because of this incident?
Absolutely not. I mean, this is either a very disturbed man or circumstances that we're not aware of that may or may not come out in this case. But let's the case play out, and let's find out what the facts are. As I've said, I mean, certainly I've condemned it. It looks to me as a heinous act. But you know what? Let's let the process work. Let us find out what was really going on here, and let's just focus on the people who were involved. This is obviously a very traumatic time for the family, and let's not introduce something that may or may not have anything to do with it. And even if it does have something to do with it, why are we going to make an isolated instance of one potentially sick man make a national discussion on race?
Rick Santorum, we wish you the best out there in Wisconsin, and thanks for joining us in your busy schedule, and I know you're a cheesehead at least for the next week.
Absolutely. Lots of cheese.
All right, you take care. Rick Santorum on the Laura Ingraham Show. A lot more to get to.